Hey everyone, I'm going to be doing a basic tutorial to how I approach building a session. I said I was going to run a Call of Cthulhu. Oh, yeah. So I said I was going to run a Call of Cthulhu two shot. Right, we've got 2 weeks where we're not going to be playing D&D, so I need to fill something, or we just weren't going to play. And I thought the Call of Cthulhu was pretty easy to DM when I did it on the stream for the Sentry Box the other week. So there we go. That's what I thought I'd do. I'm pretty old-fashioned when I do stuff. I normally use a pen and notebook, so I'm actually learning computers and stuff all of the time anyway. So I have a couple of pieces of tools available to me right now. So I've got some quick sheet cards which I use for any specific locations I want notes on. I always make sure I type them on that. Any NPCs, I put the stats and any quick abilities I want them to be able to use on those cards as well. Then I always have some post-it notes and things to just stick on for any extra page references. And then I've got down here off camera any reference material I'm going to be looking at. So like the Call of Cthulhu core book, so the Pulp Cthulhu stuff, because I'm thinking of having a little bit more action in this one. And then a book with the spells. I've got some internet browsers open, and then that's it. So the first thing I try and do is make sure I've got everything prepped that I'm going to need, because it tends to save time later on. And yeah, that's it. We'll get started. So the thing I thought I would do to try and make my life easier for this was, for coming up with the idea, I read through a couple of one-shots. I wasn't really happy in how I was going to tie them and guarantee I could get them over to. And I find personally that I'm more comfortable in a scenario that I've written myself, because I feel like I know the ins and outs of it. I know how everyone's going to react to different situations, all the NPCs and whatever players do. So on short notice, I think I'm actually better at prepping a scenario from scratch like I'm going to do now, compared to just using a pre-generated piece, where I always feel like you've got to reference it. It kind of breaks the verisimilitude of the situation and can kind of slow it down. But we'll see how it goes. So, as an idea for actually setting the game, I was going to steal liberally from the FFG Arkham Horror, the card game. So I'm going to actually be running it based in that world, and I'm going to try and take the intro scenario from that game and see if I can transpose it into Call of Cthulhu 7th edition. So we're going to be looking at primarily the cards and stuff like that for any reference material. So let's see if I can turn that on. So there we go. So scenario 1 is a gathering, and this is the players all investigating some murders. So I suppose I could pull that up as well. So yeah, let me find the pamphlet and a campaign guide for the Night of the Zealot. Yeah, there we go. So that should come up in a minute. Okay, so I drag that over here, turn that on. So this is pretty good. Obviously, we get a lot of flavor text here. And this kind of stuff helps you get the feel and the grounding for your campaign. So this is where I'm going to start. So Friday, September 18th, 1925, Arkham, Massachusetts. In the end of a long and abnormally hot summer, the first hints of autumn beckons, but heavy heat persists, relentless. A silent and spoken anger grips the town. Tempers are short, and the last week alone there have been a number of reports of townspeople coming to heated, violent blows with one another over simple misunderstandings. And now a call from James Hankerson. He claims to have found a dismembered body in his barn. So, it kind of gives us what we need to get into it. So, literally, we're gonna take that. We'll throw this in. So we've got some session notes there. What are we? So we'll go setting. And are you going to work? No. There we go. So there we go. So heading, does that work? No, outline. Yeah. So that'll be, the intro can be heading 2. And there we go. Seems pretty easy. So we've got some flavor text in there. So we can use, no, don't do that. So where are we? And then we want to have a look, see what else we get in here. Well, you've been over the past several weeks, 10 people have gone missing mysteriously, cops started turning up. So what I might want to do is look at making some handouts and stuff for that, but that's something we'll come back to. What I want to do is pull all of the text from this that I'm going to need. That I want to be the main body, so normal text. Oh, this is going to be annoying, isn't it? This is why I normally use pen and paper. Heading 2. No. I'm bad at this. Okay, we're not gonna worry about all of that. We'll just leave it all at normal text, and I'll worry about that later. I should have probably learned how to use my computer before we did this, but what are you gonna do? Okay. So we want bits to read out, so that's that. So I'm just going to concentrate on the first encounter, which is going to be the gathering, which we've got here. So then we can look at some of the locations. So we have the study. So we start off in the study in the card game. So we're gonna go from there. So location 1. One of the investigators' houses. Open with study. I can't even spell study. It's a Y. So we're going to open with the study, and we're going to use some handouts. We'll probably have a little bit of maybe some newspaper clipping, something like that, and then a specific phone call where we're being asked to investigate a specific case. So that's where we'll go there. Then what's going to happen is when we so it's late at night. We're in your study researching the bloody disappearances that have been taking place in the region. A few hours into your research, you hear the sounds of strange chanting coming from your parlor door, and as if something is digging beneath the floor. Cool. Okay. So sounds, and where were I? The sounds, yeah. Then we go, so this is pretty easy using these cards because we get to jump from that one into this one for what happens. So we go so this is what we're going to describe. Before your eyes, why can't I spell study? So at the moment I'm not flavouring anything up with the text for now. I'm just being pretty blunt, trying to get the basic flow of a session. I normally bullet point all of this, but that's where we're going at the moment. So we have that. Then if we look at the next card for the act and agenda, we go through basically describing if the investigators are doing well, it describes how they're making progress. If they're doing badly, it kind of slows them down and introduces more villains. So we're going to try and take the same tact, and that's how I'm going to try and control the pace of the session. But so this will be notes to notes to DM. So note to keeper, because that's how they structure it in the books, and I want to keep things consistent. So keeper's your dungeon master in Call of Cthulhu. The chanting's a spell. Which is warping reality. So basically what's going to happen is all of the locations in the house are going to warp, and the door basically goes underneath the rug. They don't know that. So we're just going to say shift to so it's going to shift to a different location in a room, e.g. in a rug, behind a cupboard, something like that. And generally I don't want to be too specific in the notes of exactly where it is, because you're going to have instances where people have played the scenario from Arkham Horror. And it's the same as if you're going to run a one-shot. I always try to be a little bit more loose with it, just because you're going to have people who've read it, especially scenarios out of real books. People tend to read them to try and get a feel for the game, even if you're a player. Not everyone's going to respect the don't read this if you're not going to dungeon master it, so it's not a big deal. But I always try and make sure that I've got room within my sessions to shift it around a little bit. So we'll see how that goes. So what do we need to do to get out is obviously the main thing. So we're going to make them have to spot hidden. spot hidden tests will reveal that how should we describe it? So we want things to have moved around, but we wait for room to remain the same, roughly. So the window could yeah, we'll reveal bulges or something. A listen test. We'll say a listen test with a hard. From a criteria for a room, yeah. What other skills do I want them to be able to use here? It's going to be a new, like an opening scenario, so I don't want to go too into Cthulhu mythos and stuff like that. So I don't know. Maybe we'll play that by ear. So. And depend on the level of success. I'm not even typing anymore, am I? So other skills if a player can justify it. So we want them to be able to get out of the room. Obviously we don't want a hard stop in a scenario of just can I take a test, everyone rolls and fails massively, then they're stuck in the room and that your scenario's over. So at some point we'll move that on. We'll have the spell continue with chanting get louder, so the listen test will get easier. So yeah. Okay. So that's going to be to keep it moving, so we want it to happen anyway. If they keep failing despite of that, we're going to have an encounter. So what else is going to be in the room to make this encounter easier? So we'll say that there is going to be a handgun in one of the desk drawers. This is all obviously provided that they don't all turn up with like Tommy guns and everything, so we'll see. Handgun and 6 loose rounds, so yeah, so it'll be a let's have a look. So this is where my prep fails. My other stuff's over there, so I'll be a sec. Keeper reference sheet. This is a really good piece of information for anyone who comes in with the DM screen, so you probably have one. But we get all the weapons and everything in here, so we want the stats for the handgun. So we're going to give them a revolver. We'll give them a 38. What do we want to say? Yeah, we'll give them a 38 revolver. Yeah, and we'll give them 6 shots. Well, we'll give them we'll say it's loaded, and then we'll give them some loose rounds in there as well. So then we'll give them extra D3 plus 2 D3 plus 2 loose shells. What about something on the wall? Maybe give them a melee weapon on the wall mounted. What kind of weapon would you mount on the wall? We could just give them hand-to-hand weapon. We'll use this. So no, we're not having a crossbow. That's a bit silly. We could have a wooden boomerang. No, I think not. We want something weighty, I think. So yeah, we'll use like a crowbar, maybe a baseball bat on the wall. That'll work. Okay, so we want signed baseball bat. Okay, so this is going to have a slightly more pulp feel, because I want it to be some combat, but not to be too focused on only combat. And we'll see how that goes, but it should be interesting. What else would I put in there? Anything going to be relevant? We could we could give them a lead. So to Professor. At Arkham University. So it's unrelated to this case. And that's just going to be something to give them something else to do. So I kind of like opening up doors rather than closing doors and keeping it too train tracky. So this is going to be a lead into other stuff. If they get out of here really quickly, I can fill time with this professor. I'll come up with names and stuff later. So what I'd normally do now is I'd use one of my little sheets. So we're going to start out the guns. So I'm not going to write out the full stats for everything now, because that will make really dull viewing, which I imagine this is probably already pretty dull, because around 38. So that's one item. So how do I do it? .38 revolver. I'm going to do it really rough at the moment. So we'll have 1d10. 1d10 damage. 15 yards. Which is going to be inside a house, so it should be fine. Round. 1 to 3 shots a round. 6 shot capacity, and it malfunctions on a 100. So just really basic notes. Like I said, I'll neaten it all up before I give them to the players. That's where I get my stuff, and then we want baseball bat. So hand-to-hand weapons. Baseball bat. So this will be something like a blackjack, horse life preserver. A club. There we go. So it uses fighting. Skill, it is 1d8 plus damage bonus. And it is, there we go. So that was a nice easy one. So like I said, I'll put more flavor text into them. I'll describe where the character got them from. So that'll be like some Google searches for baseball players from the 1920s, so I can have it assigned back from somebody. And that's where I'm going to try and build the world into a little bit. So let's put notes in here. We'll try and size it. Still to be done. So we need to find a player to sign. But there we go. And that's all. That's what we're going to find in the room to help them out. Then, once they go through, they proceed into a hallway, and that'll be some form of dimensional shift in the way that they get there. So in the Arkham Horror campaign, it jumps through the floor, so they drop down, and come out of the ceiling. So we'll have something like that. So let's see how this gets described. So once they get out, we have that the your house continues to change before your very eyes. The walls have decayed, the ground in many rooms has turned to dirt, as if it's almost as if you've been transported somewhere else entirely. So there we go. We'll steal that. So. Sure. Okay, so location 2 is the hall, which leads to there's a door to the upstairs. So door to cellar first. Oh, stairs to upstairs. Attic, and we want a door to power. So door to power. Door to power then, okay. What do we want to do here? We will describe the shimmering on the door to power first, so that definitely draws them into investigating that. need a list of all the skills, don't I? Okay, let's have a look. First tones, no. Skills and base chances, this is what we're looking for. There we go. So a lot of different skills in this game, so this is what slows it down. So we want to find stuff that can get them rolling dice, so we will say a very difficult spot hidden. So describe a scene. That's a very difficult spot hidden. Then we've got an easy occult. I'm gonna phrase this differently so that I actually know what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna put the skill and then the success level that they need to get. Psychology relapse, not really. Where are we? Listen, not so much listening. What about that? Seems alright, to be honest. Yes, that's what we'll do. We'll leave it at that. So anyone who has a cult can roll on that. If no one's got a cult, we'll do a spot hidden. We'll call for an occult check. That should be okay. And we'll see what they see. Okay. Then we want basically the hallway is just a traversing point, so we want them to be able to get to the cellar for the ice. Yeah. Yeah, chill. Unnaturally so. As you move into a cellar, we're going to describe how it's more earthen now. The different smells. And then emphasize. The breath misting. That kind of stuff. And that's going to lead into a potential fight if they dally too long down there. So listen test for digging. Maybe if they took too long, they could already be warrens. Yeah. Maybe a swarm of rats could come out of somewhere. So put that in there. Then so in the campaign and the card game, there's no locations for the upstairs. It's literally just the attic, but we want to give them more house to like hide in and use. So we'll have 2 bedrooms. A bathroom. So temptations here to like Resident Evil it up a little bit and have stuff in the bathroom and things like that, but maybe not. We could have some tepid water and things, and then the ladder to the attic. Yeah, that's fine. And then we have attic. So in the attic we have a bloody corpse. That's hung from a meat hook. Blood draining into a bucket. Some nice imagery. Should we give them anything else up here? So if they've not fought anything at this point, I can maybe we'll maybe make it as if they're being framed for the murders because they've been asked to investigate it. So we could have a cultist. We have a cultist prepping the body. But he'll be hiding when he heard, so he's... So he's hiding in the shadows, so we need spot hidden. For normal. So we're going to have some combat here. Before opening the attic. Okay. So that'll give us some combat, so we need stats for a cultist. So, nice and simple, just attic cultist. I know I need to work on that now, and that can get added to a pile. What's actually in the attic that it's of use? So a cultist will have a knife. So we'll say a sacrificial dagger because it adds more flavour. Traditional black robes. He's a cultist after all. And then do we want any jewellery? No, it's going to be pretty unadorned. We don't want to give too much away too early. He's not going to speak. In fact, so how can we prevent that from happening? Maybe he's had his tongue cut out. He could just be a fanatic. Maybe he doesn't speak English. No, we'll leave that. But it's not gonna. It's probably gonna bleed out before we get to speak to him anyway. And then in the attic in general is a bucket. I just want to give them. You want to reward the players to keep it relatively narrative to what happens in the story, in case they do know. But then you don't want to make it that's the only way of getting out. Because your players will always try and come up with interesting ways around it anyway. So there's going to be a bucket in there, and then old suitcases. Old trunks and clothes, not much. Typical old attic. Then what else do we have? So we'll look into some of the bad stuff that they lay out now. So we have trapped. What do we want to be happening? Yeah, so that's all the good stuff which we already know. So we have the agenda. So we'll make some sanity checks probably. That's what we could do. Spot hidden in the we'll give him some arcane jewelry. So what do we want? Spot hidden while looking through a trunk will reveal it's basically going to be an Elder Sign amulet. So we want to write down this. It's going to be a cool item, so plus 10 sanity. There we go. So we give him an elder sign amulet plus 10 sanity. We'll write that up nicely, put a description on there at some point. So I should probably start doing them on the cards and use my notepad. That belonged to investigate his grandmother. Easy. Okay, so that should be an interesting bit of encounter combat. They'll have a gun, they should have a baseball bat. Some of them might have equipment on them, and the cultist has got a dagger. We'll think of something for the sacrificial dagger. Yeah, we'll get that sorted out. I'm not 100% sure how we'll do that. Then what do we want? So in the cellar we want ice forming. Blocks of ice. How is it described in the location card? Okay, so then we want a caverns and tunnels. So this is going to be potential for a total party wipe here, so this is going to be fun. Caverns and tunnels. This is a ghoul one. Caverns and tunnels in the cellar. So we see the rats are going to come out. And we're going to reveal the tunnels. So no lighting. So how do we want? We're gonna want to go that way. So we need a way out for them against all odds. Spot hidden for ghouls in yeah, we'll see. So there'll be ghouls in there. That's what's going to attack them, and this is where they're primarily going to come from. There'll be pillars of ice. Okay. Okay, so I think that's a rough outline there. And then, how do we break the magical barrier? So, power, we'll describe that. Heat haze from the door. So in 5 feet. Do we want them to be able to jump through the barrier? So no. They can try, they'll get superficial burns and it'll repulse them. D3. So how are we going to be able to get out? There's no windows because so windows have seemed so it seems like the house underground now. So if we break the glass, they can dirt will float in. Oh yeah. What else? What kind of house is it going to be? Do we want brick? Probably not. So a back door through the kitchen? Have we even discussed a kitchen? We didn't discuss a kitchen. How to escape? So we'll add a kitchen onto the main floor. So that seems obvious. I suppose I should put a kitchen in here. What are we going to have going on in the kitchen? Scene of slaughter, blood everywhere. Put on the walls and ceiling. What about this area will have and dirt's falling through a back door. Off wall. So this is where we murdered the guys in the attic. And then we'll say, yeah, we'll have a so buddy sigil around the table. Getting a cult check. Okay. So that bit doesn't need to be here, that can go up in. I suppose the hallway should have a telephone. Okay. Okay. Then we will. Where do we want to do this? So we have to get through a power door. They could try to overload it, so shooting it will. If you want to unload bullets into it, yeah. Shooting the barrier. Okay, so we'll give a barrier health. Okay. we'll say 50 hit points. So yeah. There we go. Easy. So we can destroy a barrier, but it's gonna, unless they've all got ranged weaponry on the characters, we're gonna have to use all of the bullets, which may or may not go well. Using a bucket from the attic can throw water on the barrier, carrying the ice. Block of ice will extinguish flames. And then the person who's got the Elder Sign amulet, give them a bonus as well. They can get through, and maybe I can negotiate with Lita Chandler on the other side and see if she'll let them out. But that's pretty unlikely. What else? So power. So obviously we have Lita. If it make it in, so let's do this. So we need an NPC, so I am going to use my notebook for this now. So we have Revolver, Bat, Amulet, Cultist, Lita. Yeah, Cultist, Lita, and then we're gonna introduce ghouls in this point as well. Okay. She can have a grimoire on her as well. We'll put some spells in that in case we decide to fight her and kill her. In fact, we'll say they can't kill her. She's going to be important to the story later on. How do we want to do this? So, back to a book of skills. So, charm. Intimidate. Persuade. And this point there'll be ghouls appear in the hallway. So we need ghouls, so we need a grimoire. And a ghoul priest. The ghoul priest will say something at this point. Oh, what should we go with? Maybe in a different language. Yeah, let's figure out what language we should have this in. I don't know. We'll put it Latin for now. No. We'll fight or flight. Ghouls have nothing. He's gonna have magic and I'll give him something scary, an axe. Okay. That kind of rounds that out. So that's going to be the first encounter and like the scene of what's going on. So then after that, if they're fleeing, they're going to probably try to burn down the house. So we'll block the door. She could have prepped that already. Before the investigators got here. And the investigators' questions. Then we get to a wider arc. So that's basically the first part of the session prepped. So we've got a definite beginning. We're going to introduce everyone. They're going to be locked in the room, give them time to chat to each other. So depending on the characters they've generated, they might want to, one of them might be related to someone who's gone missing. Until I see all of the characters, I'm not really going to know 100%. But we'll put all of that together. Then we'll set the scene further. We'll have the spell being cast, and then we can move on, and they'll probably get out of here relatively quickly, to be honest. I can't see this taking too long. There's a decent chance that they get themselves killed, but that's always the case. And yeah, that's it. Generally now what I'll do, because I'm going to write up all of the stat cards for the magic items, I'll do some research and come back and put it all together. And yeah, that's about it. I'll probably end the stream there, because I don't think you guys want to watch me write up neater versions of the cards, but we'll see. And yeah, thanks for watching, and hopefully it was almost insightful. I don't know. Cheers everyone, bye.